jokes and cracking streams. Pop culture jokes explode at the seams. When a laps round Sickest biker car. Speed so far, like shooting stars. Motorsports mania, gotta watch his channels. Take you from pit stops to panel. Virtuoso on asphalt and gravel. Commentary unravel. Grip the mic like a steering wheel. Real feel, no pretense, all deal. Loves motorsports, don't get it twisted. With his laugh hypnotic and listed. Faces fear with humor and rap. Yo Trevor, tell him about that bubble rap man. Taking command, fearless dude, pop in hand. Watch him go live, vibe so grand. Motorsports knowledge, broad as the land. Comedy tight, wrap him up tight. Crack a pop, no fight, all flight. Trevor rises, reach a new height. Bubble rap king doing right. Pop a bubble, feel the rumble. Trevor never stumble. Pedal to metal, adrenaline treble. Jokes and gears never settle. Commentate, captivate. Motorsport magnate. Live stream scene, his domain. Poppin' jokes like champagne. See him racing, fast pace. Heart racing, laughing faces. Motor chasing, commentator. Banter level major. From the track to chat, never flat. We know where the fun at. Trevor Byers bringing fire. Bubble rap man, true admire. Bubble rap man, taking command. Fearless dude, pop in hand. Watch him go live, vibe so grand. Motorsports knowledge, broad as the land. Comedy tight, wrap him up tight. Crack a pop, no fight, all fight. Trevor rises, reach a new height. Bubble rap king doing right. Pop it, watch it go live, vibe so great. Motorsports knowledge broad as the land. Comedy tight, wrap 'em up tight. Crack a pop, no fight, all flight. Trevor rises, reach a new height. Bubble rap king doing right. Trevor Byers, commentator, live streamer like a motorsports dreamer. Crackling jokes and cracking streams. Pop culture jokes explode at the seams. When a laps round Sickest biker car. Speed so far, like shooting stars. Motorsports mania, gotta watch his channels. Take you from pit stops to panel. Virtuoso on asphalt and gravel. Commentary unravel. Grip the mic like a steering wheel. Real feel, no pretense, all deal. Loves motorsports, don't get it twisted. With his laugh hypnotic and listed. Faces fear with humor and rap. Yo Trevor, tell him about that bubble rap man. Taking command, fearless dude, pop in hand. Watch him go live, vibe so grand. Motorsports knowledge, broad as the land. Comedy tight, wrap him up tight. Crack a pop, no fight, all flight. Trevor rises, reach a new height. Bubble rap king doing right. Pop a bubble, feel the rumble. Trevor never stumble. Pedal to metal, adrenaline treble. Jokes and gears never settle. Commentate, captivate. Motorsport magnate. Live stream scene, his domain. Poppin' jokes like champagne. See him racing, fast pace. Heart racing, laughing faces. Motor chasing, commentator. Banter level major. From the track to chat, never flat. We know where the fun at. Trevor Byers bringing fire. Bubble rap man, true admire. Bubble rap man, taking command. Fearless dude, pop in hand. Watch him go live, vibe so grand. Motorsports knowledge, broad as the land. Comedy tight, wrap 'em up tight. Crack a pop, no fight, all flight. Trevor rises, reach a new height. Bubble rap king doing right.
charismatic French bulldog Hank will be waiting for him at home and he'll be saying, woof, 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 woof.
Very lucky he didn't do the first hour because he could have quite literally been a fish out of water, but thankfully for Nemo, he knows how to navigate these conditions.
Their usual thing and going tits up, but we've got 6 hours, that's right, 6 hours to go here, and we're only on lap
Not
1.
too far away from Immortal Nick, but Immortal Nick right behind Vert Wheeler here, but Vert Wheeler still got to do that mandatory pit stop.
You can see there Vanessa enjoying this. She goes, "Oh, you're so brilliant and funny," and she absolutely loving that stream over there at 7 a.m. and this guy down there side by side with Random, and then it's Hoot Corp. Look at this down Kemmel Straight, Prince, as the team radio beeps are coming in, flying under the radar. Welcome to you, and it's so close. Is there going to be contact? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're watching right around the world. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 3 of the Australia-New Zealand Endurance Series on consoles. Tonight it is qualifying here at Misano in the beautiful country of Italy. And we've got Q1, Q2 and Q3 ahead of us here this evening. And Q1 will be a 20-minute session, I beg your pardon. And we've got... no, sorry, let me just get that right for you. It'll be a 20-minute session with the top 20 progressing through to Q2. If you are P21 to 25, your quali night is done. And Q2, the top 20 from Q1, will be on track for 15 minutes before the famous top 10 shootout with P10 going out first, starting his or her flying lap. And you know how the drill goes. As it's an absolute pleasure to have you here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. As we see, Aussie Blood DRS says, "Go Dask, first time chatter," which means you need to hit that follow button. If you're out there watching and you haven't hit the follow button, then please consider hitting that follow button. As I welcome a man who can charm snakes with just one blow on his pipe. I speak of Chuck Norris. Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, Trev. Good evening, everybody in the chat. Firstly, hope you're all doing well. Yeah, we're back here for the 6 hours of Misano qualifying night. Some good times already being thrown up onto the board at the moment. Top 13 or even top 14 separated, you know, by just over a second there. So absolutely nothing between these drivers so far.
Absolutely, as we see them come out onto this beautiful circuit, of course, here at Misano. And we've got 10 corners, and 14 corners, 16 corners, in fact. Boy, what a start. You can tell I'm a little bit rusty, but we've got a couple of new faces here as well, I believe, Nigerian Prince, including Jeesh for BSR1, who is up in P2 at the moment. Good to see some new faces here tonight.
Yeah, that's what we love to see. New drivers coming into the ranks and, stepping themselves up there and putting themselves at the front row, provisionally, obviously, in Q1. So, just friendly reminder, if we've got anybody out there that's watching that's going, how do I get involved in this Enduro series? Exclamation mark endurance into the chat. And obviously, we've got our upcoming charity series kicking off on the 31st of July. Use exclamation mark Discord for more information.
It's going to be fantastic. Great to have you along this evening, though. However, Aussie Blood, I think that's Aussie Blood DRS. That's how you say that. I do have a habit of butchering names. We take a look at Cave Racing, car number 81 here this evening. And drivers, Barters, who's in the car currently at the moment in the Pro class. And John, 27 TCT. And results there. Third in Spain, second at Imola at the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari. We've got a yellow flag, but I think that is for the pit lane, as we see that marshal waving that flag very enthusiastically as well. 12 minutes to go in Q1. Mint Matt is now up into P3 for BCG in car number 92. And this squad, we had a couple of late entries pulling out before the start of qualifying for various reasons, Prince. Which is not a great thing to hear as we come into a race weekend, but still 23 cars out there and 50 plus drivers is still a good turnout.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. We obviously, like you mentioned, we had a couple of drivers unfortunately had to pull the pin on this one this weekend, but nonetheless, though, like you mentioned, we've got a ton of drivers, 23 to be frank, on the current grid order for qualifying tonight. But yeah, like you said, Trev, over 50 drivers participating this weekend, which is good to see.
Great to see. 11 minutes remaining in Q1 here. And boy, the pressure's going to be on further down the field. We see Kings Racing, or Kings 2, with Jimbo there at the helm in the number 33 Nissan there. They're 1.5 seconds off. We are seeing a very condensed qualifying here at the moment. You can see there P12 and P13. It's happened again, Prince, exactly the same times, which happens quite a bit, don't we? We see it so often. It's happening again very close in that middle to lower part of the field.
Yeah, that's typically, like, we see that quite often, drivers kind of stacking in the same time and not too far behind of identical time as well as Ikintosh. What is it, 10/1000ths of a second, if I can get that word out correctly, Trev. But yeah, no, it's very, very quick at the moment, and Noodles, he's got just over 5/10 lead over P2 being Jesh.
You can see that. That is the words of the Nigerian Prince alongside me all weekend this weekend. No Kings at 1 this weekend, of course. Myself, that being Jason, Mac and Matterford, all unavailable, so cheering on Jimbo and Binger. And I'm guessing if Kings 1 are out of the race weekend, does that make Kings 2 Kings 1, Nigerian Prince, if you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah, there's plenty of Kings racing out here this weekend, but yeah, obviously Wilco isn't participating this weekend. He's got a couple of different life commitments on, so yeah, it's still good to see a couple of those drivers out here. As
we take a look at Sophie King for FTSC2, that name always a challenging one, as Josh Oz, or Joe 5H underscore Oz.
Fastest lap too.
Oh,
look at you go.
And thank you for that, Wilco. And he was at your residence, of course, in the last week or so, Nigerian Prince, and was just, he was in awe of the fact of how we read these comments, deal with the sound effects, how we can multitask, and I guess that's just part of being the PC Master Race, Nigerian Prince.
yeah, over the weekend, obviously, Wilco came and visited me in Adelaide, and yeah, I made him a pro streamer while he was here. He not only had to read the chat, he had to control the stream, and he had to drive all at once. So yeah, I definitely threw him in the deep end, but I think he did well.
Absolutely, lost 8,000 big ones on that bet, as Wilco, or I think you were trying to lap Sandown in under so much, whatever the time was that was set in the wet there. 133.582 though. Let's get back to this race here tonight at Misano, round 3 of this Australia-New Zealand Console Endurance Series. And not break my fingies like you, Voodoo. I'm not sure why I said that like Voodoo, but you can see there they're not that good, says Wilco. But Josh Oz, first-time chatter, Prince, can you please tell him what he needs to do?
Josh, welcome to the stream first off, and just friendly reminder, if you haven't hit that follow button yet, I know the pink love heart that you see on your screen, definitely be sure to consider doing so. You don't want to be missing out on any of the upcoming stuff that Trev's got planned.
Absolutely not. And let me tell you, it's great to have Josh along. Wet lap at Sandown was a 1:19. And he says, does that mean we get... oh, and forget about that, because Ranger Oz off the track in a big way there. And let's have a look at whether he can get it back on. I believe that is the Carrow corner there, or turn 14, I think it is, coming through that part of the lap. That is a big off, and he's back in the pits there, Chuck Norris. Not good, but they're inside the top 10, but it is closer than you can poke a stick out there inside that top 10. So they'll be wanting to come back out, if I can talk English properly, and get another lap in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a very tough part of the circuit. I personally did a Misano 8-hour myself over the weekend, and yeah, it's a very tricky corner, that one. We saw a lot of drivers making that same mistake during the race and tried to rejoin the circuit and got disqualified because the game's like, no, you cannot do that. So yeah, quite a few people got disqualified for doing that, but thankfully this is qualifying and he could just make his way back into the pit lane, kind of reset, and try and put a better lap in.
And the words of the Nigerian Prince, Chuck Norris, also the man who did the driver's briefing earlier on this evening, and boy, you should have been a fly on the wall or a kit buyer's hanging upside down from the walls with that one, because it was very professional, and even suggestions that you should take over the driver's briefing more often, of course. Nigerian Prince's Dask puts in a good lap there, and Disco Stu likes the look of that one. His man is up into P5 now.
Yeah, that's what we like to see, you know. The P1 gap is just under 2/10, but Dask is holding just over 5/10 back. But this is a very competitive grid, Trev. There's a lot of drivers that, you know, just a fraction of a tenth to a tenth might even throw them not one, but, you know, upwards of maybe 3 positions here.
Well, I tell you what, one mistake could be the difference between getting through or not getting through. Good luck to everybody there as we take a look just inside that top 20. Look how close it is. The top 20, of course, progress to Q2. And if you're P21 to 25, but we've got, what's that, Branchy, Gaz and HC Lewis. Some big names there, including Hoon Corp 1. I don't want to alarm you, Chuck Norris, but with 5 minutes left in Q1, it seems that Hoon Corp 1 with HC Lewis are out of the top 20 and in P23 at the moment.
Yeah, it's very tricky around here to make sure that not only you get the lap in, but making sure that you don't invalidate the lap, which is quite easy to do around here. So Lewis is on, it looks like he's on a bit of a hard charge here. Time is ticking. All he's got to do is get into that top 20 to make it into Q2. So hopefully he can get that BMW around and, you know, in some sort of a good way to get that lap in to make it through.
As you can see now, the man we're talking about, HC Lewis, you'll be proud, we know it, and I'm sure that he will find that hilarious, but it's all about getting that lap in for this qualifying session. As Jason Wilkinson says, shout out to Nick and Smitty for doing this weekend as solo drivers. And I don't need to tell you about it with your 40-hour famine sprints, but a 6-hour race really does take the juice out of your jet stream, doesn't it? Because it's just so difficult, especially as a solo driver, to concentrate, not only for that length of time, but to forgo such things as food and nourishment and hydration. It can be very difficult.
Yeah, it's a very difficult one. Even doing a 2-hour race can be quite taxing solo. So let alone doing a 6-hour race, it's going to be a big task. But, you know, I don't think they would have signed up to do it if they didn't feel like they could. And sometimes that challenge is kind of what we need to set ourselves, you know. 6 hours solo, firstly, can we do it? And secondly, how well can we do? So mad props to those guys.
It's absolute respect for them as HC Lewis now continuing on And where did that... Was that a hot lap last time around? No, there's still 1.7 seconds off of that, well, provisional. They don't need 1.7 seconds, do they, Prince? They need to just get inside. They need about 4/10 to get inside that top 20 position, which is being currently held by Nick.
This for Voodoo I've just subscribed for 18 months. Hello Trevor Byeth, do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Saviour, Chuck Norris? I heard he fought the long hard battleth with a great white hawk the other day. The hawk is currently in the ICU, I hope it maketh a full recovereth. And wait, happy 18 month. Mute loveth you, hurrah, you, hurrah.
What the hell was that? Oh, was that Bob from the UK? That's terrific. It sounded a little bit like Mike Tyson though, didn't it? Mike Tyson. But that's fantastic. A bit of Shakespeare there, but happy 18 months. Prince, that is 2 babies in the trimester there, and that is absolutely fantastic. Big hello. He has resubscribed for 18 months. That is terrific. Add a tier 1, Prince, if you don't mind, and we'll need to get that translated into Google, I think, but thank you very much, Nigerian Prince.
Most welcome, most welcome. So, yeah, like, you can also play around with Brian from the UK as well, reading out your messages now. So we did a little bit of an adjustment this afternoon, and we've enabled TTS, so text-to-speech, on all the bits that you cheer to the stream, also on your resub messages and stuff like that. So get creative, play around with them. It's a bit of antics.
That's what we love. We love the antics, but I tell you what, with less than 90 seconds to go in this Q1 session, Chuck Norris, you might have pissed... no, we'll move on from that, sorry. But I'm looking at this top 20 now, and I'm looking at Metal Steel. He's in 17th for PRT, but who is going to miss out? Because Hoon Corp 1 is still outside the top 20. They are in 22nd, Prince. My nails are jangling, and because this has to be a do-or-die lap, surely.
Yeah, they might be lucky to get one more opportunity. They look very close to being an invalid lap there. Hopefully not though. But yeah, with 40 seconds remaining on that clock, it's, yeah, like you said, it's a do or die situation. You know, you need a few tenths. So pushing where you can, making sure that you're hitting your marks is definitely going to be crucial, as that's definitely an invalid lap there on the exit into T1. So Lewis, a final chance to get Hoon Corp 1 into that top 20 to progress through to Q2.
Well, this is going to be the big story out of qualifying if they don't make it. And you can see there, Wilco says, sounds like the AI have had a few Ricardo Reds, of course. And sounds like Mike Tyson had a few too many Reds. Thank you, Wilco. And 3, 2, 1, 0. So this has to be the lap for Hoon Corp 1 here, as we see them now. Very serious indeed now. Big hello to the 21 people out there watching. And if you're out there and you're already following, then please do consider to follow the stream. Or if you're already following, thank you for following, and continue to follow and be part of this great community now, as we see Hoon Corp coming up on the back straight now towards the kink at the back part of this circuit, and there looks to be some traffic there too, Chuck Norris. That could be an issue in the final part of this lap, but it looks like they're on a hot lap themselves, those cars ahead of HC Lewis.
Yeah, it does look like it. So I think one of them invalidated their lap, unfortunately. The driver directly in front is currently on an invalid lap.
Oh.
So hopefully, that's very hairy, and that's going to lose Lewis any time that he had gained, unfortunately. And the driver behind as well is unfortunately invalidated their lap too. So yeah, very tough out here.
That could be it. Very hairy indeed, as he's just making sure of it there. He's just doing a bit of silly salmon there into the wall. So that is Hoon Corp 1 done, and they will start the race on Sunday afternoon from at least 22nd on the grid. Who else have we got there doing laps? I think there might be one other car out there Is it car number 99 or is it Fly Sky, I think, who flew past my picture? And we'll head back to the garage now. You can see there, Noodles, provisional pole position, 33.582. Mint Matt further back there, BCG1 and BCG2, 2 and 1 respectively, just the wrong way around there. Geesh for BCR1 there. We won't go through all these, but the important one there, Apex Humper, getting into that final 20 for BSR2. But unfortunately, Chuck Norris, Stingrays, missing out with Branchy. Hooncorp won the big one there with HC Lewis, and Cact Arse and Gaz in the 666 Ferrari, a number close to your heart, but a number they won't be happy with is P23 there at the end of Q1.
Yeah, it was a very intense Q1, and you know, with a fraction of a tenth kind of separating every driver as you slowly start going down, it was definitely a very hard one. So yeah, missing out on a few tenths is definitely not ideal, but now they can go kind of back to the drawing board with their setup and go, right, we've got tomorrow to prepare, and then obviously the big race on Sunday. So hopefully they might be able to hash out some of those mistakes in the setup, maybe work on those laps as well, and, you know, try and keep it within track limits, because, yeah, they do come out to bite pretty quickly around here.
They certainly do. That is the end of Q1. We are waiting patiently, Nigerian Prince, for the start of Q2. Well, that will be the top 20, of course, as we load into Q2. And boy, we are not mucking around, because we are straight into Q2 already. We don't even have enough time to read Voodoo's resubscription message. Hello, Trevor Byers. Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Saviour, Chuck Norris? I can't get over that. Chuck Norris, as we see Hooncorp 2 pulling out into the pit lane there. That's a bit naughty. As
this for Voodoo, I've just cheered 5 bits.
As
I heard you say I had one too many Ricardo Reds, but did you know I can also be sound like a sprinkler?
No.
My sprinkler goes like this.
Oh, this
Comes
is...
back like t t t t
Oh.
t t t t t t t
Oh, this is... Oh, that's... you're a terrible man there, but let me tell you, it was worth every bit of the 5 bits, let me tell you. Just trying out these... what would you call them, Chuck Norris? These new alerts, of course, all through Twitch. Full integration through Twitch, of course, now, Chuck Norris. We can do all of this at Twitch now as a one-stop shop for all the alerts. And as Wilco says, Trevor's broken. But these are fantastic, these alerts now as we start Q2. Nigerian Prince, help me out.
This for Voodoo, I've just cheered 5 bits. How about some beatboxing? Sure thing.
God. Oh no, it's going to go over Lewis's message. Oh no. Lewis. This is absolutely crazy. Are we still on air, are we? Yeah, we are. That's okay. And now, yes, that's more like it. This is
151 just subscribed for 15 months. Hey, X.
Hey, and not quite beatboxing at its finest, but my goodness me, big shout out to the Nigerian Prince. Lucky it's an outlap, says Jason Wilkinson. And boy, Finn McGuinness and those Hawks are going to go down on Saturday afternoon. And you just wait. We've got the big mixed day. It's going to be 9 degrees and 90km/h winds. Not the ideal conditions for the big men. But it gets funny with me this week, you know, Nigerian Prince, when our football teams are playing each other. But it is a huge game. But back to the racing. Oh, Willstar there. I was going to ask you about track limits there, as it looked like Willstar just cut that corner, Prince. Naughty, naughty. Are they very strict around this Misano circuit?
Yeah, track limits are very rough around here. I mean, in my 8 hour that I did last weekend, I managed to
Exorcist
cop, I think it was like 5 track limit
666 hell
warnings in the
just
first
subscribed
90
for
minutes
8
of my race.
months.
So, yeah, they're pretty rough around here.
Absolutely, as the hype train begins. The hype train has started. Everybody, please show your tickets to the Nigerian Prince Chuck Norris, because Exo's come in. First it was Voodoo with his with cheering his 5 bits, and then and the beatboxing and Boots and Cats and all that sort of good stuff. And then Lewis came in. Do you remember Siri? Remember Siri beatboxing? But Lewis come in with the 14 months at Tier 1. And we've had 2 babies together now. In fact, 1.5 babies. And there we go. EXO666 has resubbed for 2 months at Tier 1. And they've been subscribed for 8 months. Prince, the hype train has started. We are at 63% as we see Noodles once again dominating this Q2 session for BCG2.
Yeah, Noodles is a man on an absolute mission, rounding out, obviously took out the top of Q1 as well as provisionally taking out the top of Q2 here. So yeah, just quick friendly reminder to everybody, if you're out there enjoying the stream, make sure to hit that follow button because you don't want to be missing out on everything that Trev's got upcoming as well. And if you do want to get amongst the hype train, you know, we're coming around, we're punching tickets. This train leaves in 3.5 minutes, so definitely be sure to purchase that ticket.
All aboard, next stop, Willoughby, and wherever that is, but that might have been an old episode of the Twilight Zone. I've completely lost my mind. I'm in my own Twilight Zone because Apex Humper is currently P11, and I tell you what, I've never seen purple rims look so good on the number 6 Porker, but that is fantastic. As EXO, as Wilco in fact is, he says, all right, I'll turn in later, good luck all. Can somebody tell him it's 8:30, it's 8:30 Eastern Time on the Eastern Seaboard, and what is that man doing turning in at this hour, Chuck Norris, on a Friday night nonetheless?
Yeah, he's having a couple of drinks, having a good afternoon, enjoying the stream, and yeah, hopefully he gets on board and enjoys the TTS messages too, because there's some pretty good ones. But now back to the racing though for a minute. You know, just over a second again separating the top 9, so there's some quick times out here with Q3 being the top 10 shootout, just a touch over 9 minutes away. I'm interested to see who makes it into that top 10 shootout, but also what kind of times we're going to be expecting.
I tell you what, Captain Risky, this is going to be interesting. It's been so close throughout Q1. Had Nimbo join the Cactus chat, and he's got that Nissan scream.
All aboard the hype train, it's about to
He
leave.
Knows just what to put in.
It sounds like
And Boots and Cats,
when it leaves the station.
As I'm trying to find, there we go, Heath. Heath ends it. Gee, that throws me off. Allergic Planet. There, that's great to have you with us. Ride on board. Heath has, he has redeemed the ride on board function, which is a function that we're offering at the moment. Big hello to EXO out there as well. And we are looking at Allergic Planet. We're going to ride on board with him, Chuck Norris, at the behest of Heath. And we're going to do that right now. We're going to ride on board with Allergic Planet. There he is, Prince, and we're going to get a beautiful view inside this 588 Ferrari here, right through the eyeballs of none other than Captain Planet.
Yeah, this is a good perspective to go into, and obviously the section that we're coming through is a very flat out section. You know, you kind of go around the 2 right-hand kinks, you try and tip it in while slowing down a little bit before that final right-hander, and then obviously into the deep braking zone off the hairpin there. So this 296 looks like it's pedaling pretty good around here. He isn't really too phased about the curbs and all that kind of good stuff, but looks like he's putting in some good laps here. This is what we like to see.
Great stuff as we continue to ride on board with Captain Planet. Down to second gear, down to first, try and hit that apex. And currently P12 for them, and CSR1 Racing, the 588 Ferrari entry, just outside the top 10 with now only 7 minutes to go in Q2, 5:31 p.m. local time here in Italy. And one thing we haven't spoken about, Chuck Norris, is the weather, which looks like it's set fair for the rest of this qualifying session. We don't believe any rain is on the way for the remainder of this qualifying here tonight.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the rain is kind of going to impact us all too much here tonight, which is going to be good, but the question is, are we going to see rain during the race? And Misano in the rain is quite a spectacle, especially when you've got these rigorous track limits. They love to just kind of jump out and invalidate your lap all the time. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the weather holds over the course of this weekend.
As we'll get back to the usual camera. Hopefully that is what you are after, of course, there, Heath. Thank you for redeeming your kit coins. Spend them wisely as we get back to qualifying. Look how close it is. Half a tenth between first and second. Will Star, always a very handy peddler. As Exo says, he loves the name Captain Planet. You know the story there. Q2, currently viewing Q2, the top 10 shootout coming up very, very shortly, of course, which will see the top 10 go through to Q3. And P10 will go out first, start their lap. And once they go through turn 3, then the next car goes out. It's a good format, Prince, and we decided to stick with it, didn't we? Because it really builds that tension, doesn't it, leading up to the end of qualifying?
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives drivers a good opportunity as well to, you know, kind of space out their times and their laps that they can do. And, you know, most of the time you'll see drivers maybe push just to make it through to Q2. And then Q2, they'll push that little bit more to make sure that they can make it into that top 10 shootout. And then it's all out in the top 10 shootout. Obviously, top 10 shootout being one flying lap that you get to set your time. And, you know, that's going to be a tense one. I've got a feeling we're going to see a few people invalidate their laps during the top 10 shootout. That wouldn't surprise me, but for God's sake, hopefully nobody invalidates their lap during the top 10 shootout, because yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
It certainly is. Of course, it makes our job a little bit less interesting, I've got to say, as we tick under 5 minutes now in Q2. If you're out there lurking, please consider following the stream. We'd love to have you as Ranger Oz for BCG4 pulls off to the side of the track. And Prince, look how close it is. There is barely a Chuck Norris streaming microphone wind muff between 11th and 12th at the moment. And look how close it is. It can't get any closer than that, in fact, between 10th and look at 11th and 12th. Same times again. Prince, don't make me say it again. You're going to make me say it again, aren't you?
Yeah, these drivers love to set these same times as one another. And yeah, it's looking a bit close here between Greenie and Ranger Oz coming out of pit lane. Ranger Oz, Greenie might have to back out a little bit, just so they're not kind of inside of each other coming out of the ghosted part of the track. But yeah, no, these are some good times that we've got on the board so far, Trev. And you know, between Mark and Ranger Oz, all they need is just under a tenth, I should say, to kind of bump Allergic Planet out of the top 10 shootout. So there's really nothing between these guys at all.
As we see some of the drivers continuing, most drivers out on the circuit. In fact, all bar Noodles, Barters and Mark Ledwich, they are all out on the circuit. And McLaren 1, 2 and 3, followed by a couple of Porkers inside that top 5. Very much a McLaren. It seems to be a McLaren circuit so far. This is going to be close. It's going to be tighter than the backside of a fish, let me tell you. That lad, Noodles, says Norm. And the back end of a fish, that's watertight. But look at that, Ranger Oz getting the back end out, getting busy with it as Noodles comes into the pits. Will Star now in P2, but it's all about who is going to make this top 10 shootout. As Heath from New Zealand says, this is going to be bloody close. And there is never a truer word spoken. Good crowd as well here at Misano. And is this a track that you're very familiar with, Chuck? Have you done a few laps around here? I'm sure you have. That's a silly question, but there's no such thing as silly questions here.
Yeah, I've done a few laps around here. The last time I was here obviously was last weekend, and I was driving the Mustang, and that thing is absolutely mental around here. But yeah, definitely the McLaren's very quick around here. The Porker loves it as well, which only seems right that we see so many of them towards the front stages of the grid. As I see, we've hit our follower goal with Codestar coming in with a follow track.
Wow, how good is that? There was a little noise in my earpiece, diddle-diddling. And boy, let me tell you, we've reached the follower goal of 370. Big hello to Codestar 000. And let me tell you, If you listen to us for long enough, you will need to call 000 because there's going to be an emergency here at some point in the future because this top 10 shootout is going to go off its nuts, believe me. Code Star has been the newest member of a family, and our family is expanding. We have 370 beautiful children and descendants here, Chuck Norris, and we love each and every one of them as Code Star is watching the S2T2 team right now, and it's good to have him as part of the family.
Yeah, it definitely is great to have a lot of new people amongst the community. And, you know, if you're out there and you're afraid and, you know, you think that purple love heart icon following the stream is going to hurt you, I can reassure you as Chuck Norris, it's definitely not going to hurt you. And we'd love to have you part of the community.
That's right. And let me tell you, if you're thinking about starting a world war, then think again. Burke's Boy, 370 little buyers. Buyers is running around. How cute. That's a scary thought, isn't it? Can you imagine them all going to the commentary box and doing their thing? But Codester, great to have you along. Burke's Boy there. Thank you for the interesting comment, but 370. And I know that the Nigerian prince who's alongside me is thinking, that's all well and good, Kid Buyers, but don't get too many followers because I'm going to get jelly. I'm jelly right now. And thank you for that, Chuck Tyson. 11 seconds left. Here, Nigerian Prince, look at this. Geesh has pulled off, but they're inside the top 10. And let me tell you, Team Radio. Oh, it's just truly gaming there, redeeming the Team Radio with your 500 kid coins. Great to have you along. But boy, it's going to get tight and tense here at the end. And Burke's Boy there, thank you for that. But Captain Planet, he might be a hero, Chuck Norris. He might be trying to take pollution down to 0. But he needs to take his lap time 2/10 further down here.
Yeah, he's only just in the top 10 shootout. I do have a feeling he might have invalidated his lap a little bit back there. But if he does end up setting a quicker time, which he doesn't, it's definitely going to be a hard one because obviously he's got a couple of people still on a valid lap, still pushing, that do want to make it through to that top 10 shootout. So hopefully for him, he can hold on to that with the fraction of a tenth holding him away from Mark.
Let's have a look. We've got Ranger Oz in the pits. Mark just outside for OTR, but let's have a look at Sofa King Bed. And he's in a bit of traffic there. Will he be able to find the time? It's so tight, isn't it, these margins? Thank you, Burke's Boy. Anytime he says out of the final corner, here they come. Can Sofa King find a 10th or 2? A 2/10 would be handy. Only good enough for P11. What's Mark going to do? He comes onto the start-finish straight now, around the final corner. Now onto the start-finish straight. And let's see what he can do. He's got someone else ahead of him as well. Across the line, can he make the top 10? Dask there as well. What's it going to be? As he goes full beans into the wall. And that would suggest, Chuck Norris, that he has not made the top 10 shootout. P12 for Mark Ledwidge.
Yeah, that was a very tense qualifying session there. You know, it was a touch over a second again, covering a lot of these guys. So, yeah, that's what we love to see, the competitiveness amongst everybody in these qualifying sessions. And, you know, coming with that competitiveness makes it even tougher to get into that top 10 shootout. So, Noodles, rounding out your pole position leader for both Q1 and Q2. But the question is, will Jesh kind of come out in force during the top 10 shootout and maybe pip him off of that top front row of the seat? But then again, will Track Limits win during the top 10 shootout, Trev? We'll have to see in a moment.
Well, do not go anywhere. Some big names making it through, some big names missing out. Of course, in both Q1 and Q2. What comes after Q1 and Q2? Of course, it would be Q3, Noodles and Geesh there, BCG2, BSR, BCG1, keeping me on my toes there inside that top 3. And then Willstar for his team, and then 5th for ST21, 6 for Cave Racing, OTR2, BSR2. Plenty of 2s here. It's getting confusing inside that top 10, but big names missing out. Captain Risky, Nick as well, of course, going solo this weekend as we get ready to get to qualifying 3 underway. And the top 10 shootout begins now with P10 going out first, of course. And we are currently in the top 10 shootout now as Big Alan Shep says a very big hello, Trev, from the Big Shep himself. Also, Travis, Matt, and Bella from down at Warrnambool. And it is great to... what's going on here on my screen? Chuck, what's happening there? I think we're seeing someone come out. No, we'll wait and see. But big hello to you, Shep, down there at Warrnambool. Great to have you with us. And Travis, Matt, and Bella as well. Come and go says, yes, 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 I'm here for the singing. And come a chameleon. You come and go, you come and go, and that's as much singing as you're going to get, unless you're going to give us a shout out and hit that subscribe button. But it's great to have you. Yes, you are watching the Top 10 Shootout. 29 gorgeous people, including Big Shep, watching it. And let me tell you here and now that big hello to everybody down there in Warrnambool, of course, watching and listening to this coverage. As we see Captain Planet now. Is it Captain Planet? What's going on here? It says Heath is in that car, but I can assure you it is Captain Planet, Chuck Norris.
Yeah, so that might end up changing over at the next timing line, possibly at the end of this lap. It'll flick over on our timing boards. But yeah, it's definitely Allergic Planet in that car. So he's coming around, he's getting those tyres all warmed up, prepared, because one flying lap. Is he going to set the lap, or is Track Limits going to take it away?
Well, let's have a look. Wait and see. You can see there, big hello, Maxi Naked Blade. The great man says, pumped with a P12 start on Sunday. Now go, Dask, go. And then Jimbo Jones says, a pretty piss poor effort in qualifying for myself. Code Star saying, good luck to Hainsey. And Hainsey saying, I'm guessing there's going to be some track limits. We've discussed this at length, of course. The track limits issue as we see Heath coming around that final, Allergic Planet coming around that final corner. And you can see there plenty of time for the top 10 shootout, of course. As talk us through a lap here, Chuck Norris, as we begin with turns 1 and 2, the Variante del Parco. Interesting set of corners here. And as we go down to turn 4, as I might shut up, Prince, and talk us through this lap, if you wouldn't mind, from your beautiful experience and championships.
Yeah, so through turns 4 and 5 is a very tricky one. You've got to make sure that you obviously take enough of the track that you can kind of maintain it to kind of tip it in. Because then obviously once you come out of 4 and 5, you've got to make sure that you don't invalidate your lap going through 6. Big run down into 7, as we've just seen Allergic Planet go through. He's taken a nice, good braking line, nice and deep, to be able to kind of swing it around, take as much of the track as he can. Coming into this section that he's just gone through, it's a very tough one. It's a weird double apex. I can never personally get that one correct, but obviously setting yourself up through there starts you off with a big run down the back straight, the 2 right-hand kinks before you got to slam on the anchors. Make sure to scrub off enough speed to tip it in. Make sure to use as much track as you can without obviously invalidating it around the outside, down into the hairpin there. That's a tricky one. If you don't brake incorrectly, I should say, you can find yourself sometimes running off the track. But he's coming around to finish the lap. He looks like he's hit all of his marks. Doesn't look like he's invalidated it. This is going to be a good lap to start us off.
It's going to be a good one. Let's take a look. A 134.875 for Allergic Planet as he pulls off to the side of the road. He sets, they set their qualifying lap, CSR1. Not a bad lap, a 34.8. We were seeing 33s, of course, as Nick chips in and says, wildly fast races here. Respect to everyone. It is round 3 of this Australia New Zealand Endurance Series console edition. As who are we looking at now here, Chuck? We're not sort of, I'm waiting to see. Have we got Greeny? Exactly, we certainly do. Big hello to you, Maxi Naked Blade. Pumped with a P12 start as we take a look at CP Greeny now. And I tell you what we might even do, Chuck. We might get some of these beautiful, beautiful graphics up on the screen. And go Greeny, come on Greeny, says Code Star. The latest follower. In fact, he was so special, he hit our follower goal. That's how special he is. Big hello to you, Code Star. Let us know where you're watching from, wherever you are right around the world. And some disappointing results for the S2 T2 squad, Chuck Norris. with 21st in Spain and DNFing in Imola. And let me tell you, they'll be looking for a good result here, no doubt, this weekend. As CodeStar is watching from Victoria, I'm also watching from Victoria. Don't tell me where in Victoria, CodeStar, because I'm notorious for giving away your age, name, and location, aren't I, Nigerian Prince?
Yeah, and it's a good thing we're not in America, otherwise you give away our social security numbers as well.
Oh yeah,
but no, greetings.
012, giving away your social security. Yeah, sorry about that, Prince, but yes, they'll be looking for a good result this weekend.
Yeah, they've obviously, as you can see on your screen, they've had a couple of rough results, finishing P21, as well as obviously picking up a DNF during our last round, being Imola. But they've managed to put themselves in the top 10 shootout for Misano, so we'll see this lap in a moment. But either way, they've managed to walk themselves in here, so this will hopefully be a good start for them on Sunday.
Oh, let's have a look. It's good. It's very good, but it's a 1:34.995. Boy, I wished I did my maths in Year 12, Nigerian Prince, but that is not good enough. It's only good enough for P2, but still a long, long way to go as we see Apex Humper for BSR2 now out on the circuit, and these guys are going to start their lap now as we see them coming around the final corner. And the drivers here for BSR2 in the Pro-Am class did not start in Spain, it did not start in Italy, and we are back in Italy, of course. Diswood and Mountain Goat Humper and Apex Humper, Mountain Goat Humper. Sorry, the graphics have led me astray, and as CodeStar says, what on earth have I followed? But Apex Humper now coming around. This lap looks good so far here, Nigerian Prince. So far, so good, but we've said that before, and it can all go haywire.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So fortunately, track limits obviously haven't been winning anybody's lap times here, and hopefully it kind of stays that way because we would love to see everybody set a lap. But I do have to admit though, Track,
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic!
Ikatosh23 just subscribed with Prime. This should be a ripper.
Pro drivers mixed in, as we've got a TTS message.
We certainly do. This should be a ripper. And Big Shep out there, poor Mountain Goat. Mountain Goat Humper. Sorry, that's put me off there, but we'll continue the lap as Big Alan Shep says, Trev, could you do the Murray Walker impersonation for Travis, Matt, and Bella? Yes, I certainly can. Hello, Travis, Matt, and Bella. It is go, go, go from the bull. And fantastic stuff as we take a look at Apex Humper there for BSR2 around the final corner. And let me tell you, what lap is this going to be? Using every bit of the track available to him, and why wouldn't you? As he comes across the line, it's outrageously quick. Fantastic! And a 1:34.315, as I say, a big thank you to Ikatosh, re-subbing with his Prime sub there. This should definitely be a ripper indeed. Shout out to you subscribing with Prime, whatever that means. It's not that sugary drink, Chuck Norris, but he's joined the family as well. In fact, he's not just joined the family, he's been with us for a while. We've had babies together.
Yeah, exactly. So just friendly reminder, if anybody out there wants to spend some Jeff Bezos dollars and you don't want to let your Prime sub rot away, kind of like our merch, definitely be sure to use your Prime sub. We'd love to have your Jeff Bezos bucks. But Apex Humphrey, he didn't leave much on the table there, Trev. Or I should say he tried to extract the most that he could out of that lap without invalidating it. Obviously taking out 5.5 tenths out of Allergic Planet to take our provisional pole position. But Darsk, our second McLaren, I should say. I'm getting mixed up here, Trev. We've got our second McLaren doing the run here with Darsk at the helm, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys can do. Obviously, we're doing reverse grid order from P10 through to P1 for the top 10 shootout, so it's going to get a little bit quicker as we go through, but it's just a matter of how much time are you going to leave on the table so that you don't invalidate your lap and you get something on the board.
Certainly is. It's all about thickening that soup without losing the flavour. As you can see there, Dask for OTR2 as we go through turn 8. We've been through turn 8. In fact, the quirkier corner, now through the Tremonto. Sounds like something you'd get with your coffee as a dessert, doesn't it, after the main course? But through turns 9 and 10, and I don't know what I'm talking about as we go through that Curvone through turn 11. And if anyone from Italy's watching Chuck Norris, they're not going to be too happy with me as we see Dask continue his lap.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't be happy if you also asked for a cappuccino with your spaghetti. You know, they're not really too fond of that either. But Darsky looks like he's been doing pretty good. He's utilised a lot of these track limits. Hopefully he hasn't invalidated it as he comes through the final corner. It had looked a bit sketchy on the line there, but I think it's a valid lap, Trev.
It's valid. Not only is it valid, it's less than a tenth off of P1 as Dask pulls off to the side of the track. It was close in Q1, it was close in Q2, and you guessed it, you better believe it, it is close in Q3 as we take a look at Barters now for Cave Racing in the 81 Mercedes-Benz.
This for Live just cheer 5 bits. Nibbles Maristi.
Nibbles Maristi. Thank you for that, Brian. The UK Brian, who started off sounding like Mike Tyson. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Big Shep. And a very big good evening to you down there at Warrnambool. And hello to everybody out at East Warrnambool, Our Lady Help of Christians Primary School down there. Had to put up with 3 years of me, and they've never been the same since. But anyway, we've got 33 minutes to go, because that's absolutely irrelevant, Nigerian Prince. And guess what? Cave Racing in their class, 3rd in Spain, 2nd in Italy. That can only mean one thing, can't it? 1st in Italy.
Yeah, I mean, you could only imagine, you know, they've had some good consistent results, that they've been constantly progressing and pushing through each of the Enduros that we've hosted so far this year. You know, P3, P2, nothing to scoff at. So, you know, maybe this is going to be our new provisional P1, Trev, and, you know, maybe they walk away with a win this weekend as well.
Oh, I love it when you get that mysterious sound in your voice. Maybe they could walk away with P1, Trev, and I've got to admit, Prince, there is nothing better than watching a Nigerian Prince's stream when I do sort of stalk him a little bit there, but I am a huge fan. I'm going to be the first one to come out and admit that. But I love nothing more when the Prince, I leave a comment and then the Prince says, "Let's go." I absolutely love it when he says that. I don't know what it is. Can we clip that or get a sound effect or something? But here we go. Anyway, enough about that. I'm getting sort of all excited there. But through the final corner, looking like a good lap. Don't forget about track limits there. Barters now as we get ready to go across the line. It is P1. P1, numero uno. That is 1 in Italian. Whichever way you want to spin your cabbages, Chuck Norris, they're in P1 at the moment. Incredible lap as we heat up our juices again.
Yeah, that's what we love to see. 0.053 of a second separating P1 and P2, but 1.5 tenths separating the top 3 provisionally. Obviously, Allergic Planet and Greenie as well. There's just under 1.5 tenths separating those guys as well for P4 and 5. So, Hainsey, is he going to slot himself somewhere in between the top 3? Or is he going to slot himself in between P3 to 5? That's what we're going to be finding out very soon.
Very, very soon indeed. Through Rio, there's a corner I can pronounce in a month of Sundays. 4, 5 and 6. And very technical circuit. Interesting looking shape. It's kind of like you've got a melted sort of person with a stick, and they're kind of poking the stick. As you can see there, we'll leave that one there because Hainsey now on a very, I wouldn't say it's a sexy lap, but it's looking good indeed. Nick says Allergic Planet 4 Pro. He wants to upgrade that man. I tell you what, no doubt that's something to think about for Allergic Planet. And Dask as well, also getting a promotion. That tastes like promotion! You know that guy, Chuck, who does that thing, but exactly what it looks like, says Zesto. Zesto. I forget what the hell I was on about, but we are getting to the business end of this lap. We're coming through the head of the person with the melted stick. As you can see there, it looks like a snake's sort of head or some sort of reptilian creature. But Hainsey is looking good here, and this lap is on, Chuck. Melted stick man's in the pits! In the pits! Oh! What happened there, Chuck?
Invalidation.
It might have been an invalidation. Ding, ding. I think that's what's happened, Chuck Norris.
Yeah, I think we saw Hainsey invalidate his lap coming into, I think it was sector 2, and then obviously he just kept on pushing, to make sure that he could just make it back into pit lane. Which is why Will Star makes his way through. So, yeah, no, unfortunate for Track Limits to win on that occasion, but Will Star, Track Limits, they are coming out in full force. They have during Q1, Q2, so not surprising they're coming out in force during the top 10 shootout.
Well, can they come out and take pole position here tonight? Zesto is all about the melted stick man, and Burke's boy says, you get a promotion. You get a promotion. Everyone gets a promotion. And Zesto goes womp womp. Aussie racer in Port Neck back to Pro-Am. Hainsey says beep. And let's go Willie, says Zesto. First one for the night, says Hainsey. Unlucky, mate. My goodness me, these comments are coming in. Big effort from Nick as well, doing it solo. There's not many things you can do solo for 6 hours, Chuck Norris, but racing around Misano is one of them for Nick this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. This is something, I personally love Misano. It's such a good track. It's a very tricky one as well, especially when you're trying to extract that time, without invalidating your lap is always a good challenge. So, tackling 6 hours of this, I do have a high feeling that we're going to see a lot of people coming through pit lane for at least one opportunity to do with the track limits over the course of the weekend. But Will Star is looking good, a little bit hairy coming onto this back stretch here, but still a couple of scary corners to go until he finishes this lap.
Hairier than an Italian wildebeest as he comes through now to turn 13, 12, 13, 14. Let's do this in order. Where are my manners? As Will Star now getting very, very serious on this. A tidy lap. He's got the whole track to himself, of course. And here he comes through the second to last corner, now into the final corner on this lap. Round 3 of this championship. If you're out there lurking, consider following. If you're already following, you're beautiful, and I love you very, very much. As across the line, oh, wow! There is just a slice of an Italian meatball between Barters in P1, a 34.262. Will Star couldn't get it done, Chuck Norris. A bee's reproductive organ between Burke, who am I talking about? Barters and Will Star. Look how close it was at the top there. My goodness. As now Mint Matt, I don't have any favourites, comes out onto the circuit.
Yeah, that's really intense. That's a fraction of a second, a fraction of a tenth as well. And, it all comes down to, did I get onto the throttle a little bit too late coming out of one corner? And, that's that amount of time. Absolutely nothing between them. So 1.5 tenths separating our top 4. Now we've got Mint Matt making his way onto the track. Only 3 runners to go in our top 10 shootout. We're clawing away at it, Trev. But yeah, like you say, your favourite Mint Matt. Hopefully, I don't want to jinx it. Track limits. Please don't hurt me, Matt. Hopefully it's a good lap here.
Oh, let's wait and see. It's always going to be.
I've just cheered 5 bits. Riddle me this.
Did you have to do this when Matt's
I am
on?
coloured yet clear. I am fruity and sweet. I am jelly. What am I? Jelly.
Well, let me tell you, Brian there says, I'm coloured yet clear, I'm fruity and sweet, I am jelly. What am I? He's jelly, guys. And thank you for that, Nigerian Prince. That's 2. First one of the night. Thank you, Norman Price, as we take a look at Mint Matt. And Simon Bishop, of course, joining the admin team for this series as well. Big hello to you. And also Bob Hoskins as well. And the man who said he's not bald, he's just a solar panel sex machine, that's not really about Matt, is it? But here we go. Time to get busy with it. These top 10 times are insane, says EXO as Matt. Coming out of the final corner now. What can he do? He's looking for a 34.2. And what's it going to be across the line? It is...
Invalid. You know what? I'm not going to jinx anymore. I'm not going to mention track limits. I'm done mentioning track limits, Trev.
Sorry, I got out of breathe there for a second. But that is dreadful, dreadful news. I'm lightheaded now, Prince. I went too far with the joke and started to asphyxiate. But geesh, let me tell you, we've got geesh out on the track. The household here wondering what's going on, whether I'm having some sort of medical episode. But that is tragic. Tragic to say the least, Chuck Norris, if we take a look at geesh out on the circuit.
Yeah, it's track limits is a tricky one, and you know it kind of gives me flashbacks. I'm not allowed to say anybody's got a nice looking livery anymore, purely because during the Le Mans 24, I mentioned that this really beautiful livery, it was like a kind of a graffiti styled livery on a GTP. I was like, man, that looks really good. I love that. And then it ended up in the fence, like not even 5 minutes later. And then I mentioned another livery was beautiful, and it did the same thing 5 minutes later. And then I did the same thing about, I think it was the Audis that were running P1 and P2 before I decided to go to bed. I was like, man, you know, it'd be weird if they ended up not making it to the checkered flag and Ferrari wins. I wake up and Ferrari wins, and here we are tonight. I'm throwing around track limits. And the first two people that I say, wouldn't it be weird if track limits ended up coming out and biting them? They end up invalidating the laps too.
I tell you what, you better be careful, Chuck Norris, what you start throwing around and understand the sort of power and strength in your words that you're throwing around. Burks boy, I can assure you that was a panic attack, and managed to get it back just in the nick of time before I passed out. Simon Bishop there, and who's joined us there, says it was an invalid lap. Thank you, Simon Bishop, my little bald solar panel, as we take a look at BSR1. Burks boy says, bit of E, I won't continue on what I was going to say, as Nick says, gorilla panic. And there we go, as out of the final corner now, here comes Geesh across the line, 34.261. At least is what he's aiming for, Prince, but it's only good enough for P5. And they will be starting from the third row of the grid in the 5 Porker.
Yeah, might only be good enough for P5, but just want to remind everybody in the chat that there is a touch over 1.5 tenths. Well, not 1.5 tenths. Just over 1.5 tenths. Trev, I can't even get my English right. Just over 1.5 tenths separating the top 5 provisionally. Obviously, Noodles, he took out Q1, Q2 on the top of the board. So, you know, is he going to squeeze himself somewhere into that gap, or are we going to see Noodles throw up a 33? We're going to find out in about a minute and a half.
Let's take a look at this lap. Let's see how far he can squeeze himself inside the top 5, covered by just over 1.5 tenths. Nigerian Prince, it's been a long day for us all up here in the commentary box. We hope you're enjoying the coverage right from the moment we got going this evening. We knew it was a very close, very tight, very tense qualifying session, but it is great to have everybody with us right around the world. Very proud of Captain Planet, allergic as he's known to his friends. Heath saying very proud of him, first time in the top 10. It's going to be at least P6 or 7 for him, as very proud indeed is Heath. But Noodles, go Noodles now. Naughty Norman Price chipping in here. This looks like a decent lap, Chuck Norris, but can it be decent enough for a 34.2 as Burks boy wants to know, are you doing the Spa 24 this weekend, Nigerian Prince? Question to you.
Yeah, definitely am. I've actually got to, after we do the qualifying night here, I've got to jump over and run a couple more laps and, you know, run in the rain as well. I haven't done that on iRacing in a very long time, except for when Wilco came to visit. But yeah, definitely going to be doing the Spa 24 this weekend. We're doing it in the BMW. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. Talking about looking forward to seeing how things go. Noodles, he's coming through the final corner, Trev.
Let's have a look onto the start-finish straight for BCG2. Can they mix it with no, it's only good enough for P5. So in the end, I wouldn't say it was an anti-climax. I don't know why that lap time seemed quicker. But at the end of this qualifying session for round 3 of the Australia-New Zealand Console Endurance Series, it is going to be cave racing there. this squad on your screen. Cave Racing there, the number 81 Mercedes-Benz, the only one inside the top 10, apart from myself, of course, but I'm not in that car. Taking pole position, Bartizan John, Nigerian Prince, starting from P1. Only a kitten's whisker there between them, and Will Star there in P2. Apex Humper for BSR2, getting that car onto the second row of the grid. OTR2 in fourth, BCG2 in fifth, and then it's BSR1 in sixth. Captain Planet there, CSR1, S2T2 in eighth, and Mint Matt invalidating their lap for BCG1 in ninth. And it was a top 10 shootout, but I think we might have lost someone there along the line. But that is qualifying done and dusted. It is Cave Racing on pole position there for the race on Sunday. Prince, another close session. Well done, lads. See you on Sunday, says the aerodynamic Simon Bishop. Thank you, Snorky. Thank you, Will I Am. Well done to everyone tonight. Burks Boy as well. Turn 1 race start is the only turn that matters, boys. And Burks Boy saying congrats, Cave. But another close qualifying session. Chuck Norris here, done and dusted for round 3 of this championship.
Yeah, this is a really good qualifying night. I do have to admit all the drivers that took place tonight. Definitely mad props to all you guys, because it was really close all the way through Q1, Q2, and then Q3. Unfortunately, 2 drivers invalidating their lap, but we have 6 drivers separated by just over a touch over 1.5 tenths. So that's insane to see, Trev.
Absolutely incredible. And funnily enough, Barters there not getting any sectors 1, 2 and 3. None of them were quickest, were they, Chuck? It was just a good, solid, stable lap there for Cave Racing there to get pole position with a 34.262. First time in the top 10 for CP Greeny. Says, I'm ecstatic. Awesome stuff, mate, says Snorky. And thank you for watching, Snorky, as well. Simon Bishop says, bloody good from the Merc boys. That is absolutely fantastic. But I don't think we're going to have any post-qualifying interviews, Nigerian Prince. But we are turning our attention to the big race on Sunday afternoon. And do not go anywhere. Do not go anywhere, of course, because that's going to be a huge race. Sunday, the 21st of July, 2024. Full formation lap, of course. You know the drill. What time do we get started? Is it midday? I think, Nigerian Prince, midday Eastern time.
Yeah, I think it's either 11:30 or 12 o'clock Eastern time. So we'll have to get a confirmation from that. But yeah, we're definitely going to be around during that time, so just make sure to follow the stream, turn those notifications on, and yeah, you'll get a ping when we go live.
Absolutely, do all that good stuff. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you this scintillatingly exciting qualifying session here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring it to you. All the details on your screen. Don't forget, around midday, race on Sunday. Trying to gain some positions early, says Burks Boy there. Thank you to everybody for watching, and also too thank you for those that followed and gave me bits, especially you, Nigerian Prince, with your jelly. I'm fruity and sweet. I'm jelly. I'm just jelly. And Nibbles McRisty should be an absolute ripper. Thank you, Ikatosh, Code Star, for following as well. The hype train got up and going there earlier on in the evening. Exo Lewis and yourself, Nigerian Prince. Thank you, Chuck Norris. We'll catch you again on Sunday.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure as always, Trev. I might be a little bit delirious on Sunday because obviously I'm doing my 24 hours of spa, so you're kidnapping me from those guys for 6 hours of that, and looking forward to doing the commentary with you, so it's going to be another good one.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic, no doubt about that. I tell you what, I want to kidnap you when you're delirious. That sounds a bit funny, but Sunday from 11:30 or 12, whichever you feel like there, Eastern. We'd love to see the green. We see the green light for the 6 hours at Misano. Later in New Zealand, whatever time it is over there, they do all sorts of funny things over there, don't they? But a big hello to Well, we love our friends in New Zealand, but big hello to everybody over there. But they are the times we are working towards. But that's our lot here for qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. We are done and dusted for this evening. And be kind to one another. We'll see you at midday Eastern time on Sunday, the 21st of July for round 3 of this championship. Coming to you from Misano. It's the Australia-New Zealand Console Endurance Series. And we look forward to your company then. But for now, it's goodbye.
Trevor Bears, commentator, live streamer like a motorsports dreamer. Crackling jokes and cracking streams. Pop culture jokes explode at the seams. When the laps round circuits biker car. Speed so far, like shooting stars. Motorsports mania, that'll watch his channels. Take you from pit stops to panel. Virtuoso on asphalt and gravel. Commentary unravel. Grip the mic like a steering wheel. Real feel, no pretense, all deal. Loves motorsports, don't get it twisted. With his laugh hypnotic and listed. Faces fear with humor and rap. Yo Trevor, tell him about that bubble wrap man. Taking command, fearless dude, pop in hand. Watch him go live, vibe so grand. Motorsports knowledge, broad as the land. Comedy tight, wrap him up tight. Crack a pop, no fight, all flight. Trevor rises, reach a new height. Bubble rap king doing right. Pop a bubble, feel the rumble. Trevor never stumble. Pedal to metal, adrenaline treble. Jokes and gears never settle. Connotate, captivate. Motorsport magnate. Live stream scene, his domain. Poppin' jokes like champagne. See him racing, fast pace. Heart racing, laughing faces. Motor chasing, commentator. Banter level major. From the track to chat, never flat. We know where the fun at. Trevor Byers.